Hey, what's up? We'll get into it. I'll just hit a couple of the things up top real quick. Big month, new audiobook, a cover of Philip K. Dick's The Eyes Have It. Audiobook only, obviously. Regular narration only, and audio drama performance on the audiobook for you if you're interested. Also, Bloody Sepulchre, finally out, finally up on Amazon KDP. Audiobook should be out next month, so you can expect that to be the release for May as I continue on putting out one audiobook a month through the duration of 2025. Made it through a third of the year. Feeling good about it. Still lots to go. We'll see how it pans out. Ricky, how are you? What are you doing? How's it happening?
Thank you for having me up, Michael, on the stage. And sounds like you're kicking ass and taking names here. This is great. I'm working on all kinds of stuff. Got a muse flash for Wargate 2. I've been outlining a little bit, tooling with blogs, tooling with serials.
I like that phrase, muse flash.
Yeah, that's the technical term for a continuous bolt of inspiration. Is a muse flash. It's sort of like representative of the storm. You see lightning and whatever. It's like, oh, the storm must still be going on. It's like, it's kind of like a storm of inspiration, I guess. I also started I went back to my role-playing game book because it occurs to me that my friend Dave and I, who started this company, in 2 years, it will be 20 years, and we have so much data laying around for the role-playing book. I've made it my business to try to wrap it up, the saga end, and then we'll retool the rule book, and then we'll see how we're going to put it out. It would be appropriate if we got it done before 2027. So, and Draken 1, I'm on chapter 21 of that, having fun. But I took a little break from it to work on other stuff, poetry and this, that, and the other thing. I'm all over the place. I got a lot of irons in the fire,
You're ripping. I looked at your poetry book. It's like 400 and some odd pages.
Oh, yeah. That's because that's the poetry going back 20 years.
Fair.
And there was actually stuff left over, which I was going to put into another big tome. But now I'm just going to split it up into sections. Because I'm doing a reprint of 2 sections of Twilight Cricket in this next thing I'm going to do for Mount Timeless Poetry. There's also 3 other equal word length spoken word albums on there of newer poetry, stuff that is not in Twilight Cricket. And I have an epic poem, and I have this thing, Liquid Posy, that I'm working on, which is all experimental poetry. Yeah.
You're like the opposite end of the spectrum from the way that I do it. You put out huge collections or books and then break them apart. I put out little bits and pieces of stuff, and then I collect them into larger releases.
Yeah, no, dig it. I used to think in terms of big books, but people like you and people like MJ are starting to turn me around. Like, I got to concentrate more on smaller content because that's important too. So it makes sense,
I like the perspective of having a wide variety of stuff, like fiction and nonfiction. I like that. Obviously, I've been doing it. I like having video and audio and editorial. I like having pictorial things alongside editorial stuff. I like having larger stuff that is maybe a little bit higher on the price range, and then smaller stuff that's really incredibly cheap. Hard to be like, that is not priced at a consumable rate. That's something that I've been thinking about over the last couple of years as I've gotten into fiction is to just make the fiction stuff, really digestible in terms of length, but then also, not expensive. Where, some of my other books are kind of pricey because of the paper quality and the images needed, to convey what's going on there in terms of like color photography and stuff like that. It raises the rate on some of those books. I can't price them, too much cheaper without basically, making it at cost. So that's something that, I consider along the way. And in the sense of like with the fiction stuff, doing these short stories, you can turn them out very well. For me, I can turn them out in tandem with the other stuff that is coming along more slowly, like a book. Paperbacks I've been doing in the fall, and then the short story stuff I've been releasing in the earlier part of the year. So I'm able to kind of like stage these releases and have something new to promote, have project deadline kind of coming up, and split them apart so that the production is not overlapping as much. The audiobook thing, doing one a month on that, has been a little bit of a different story because a lot of that material has been at least produced in some fashion already. So like next month's audiobook will actually be the first totally all new audiobook release that I've done for this year. All the other stuff I'd either recorded earlier or repurposed and redressed a little bit and stuff like that. But it's in that way that we can revisit our content that we've produced, the books that we've produced, the chapters that we've produced, and offer them up in different ways for people to participate in. And whether that's audio or ebooks or whatever. And obviously, like I've got this video series that I'm working on for volume 3 of the National Parks book too, which is coming along. I'm actually pretty close to like completing the first kind of preliminary video production side of things. And then I'll start getting into the nitty gritty editing and music aspect, which has already been started as well. So gosh, I wish I had it done already, but it'll be done when it gets done. And, that's just how stuff goes.
I've been having a lot of fun. So, I hope you have too, because it's definitely it's creativity, and it's about, you got to make money, but it's also just, for me, writing like this, doing all this stuff is entertaining, like beyond anything I could find in outside of my creative sphere. It's just keeping up with it. It just makes the time flow.
I try to learn something new about the processes and writing with each project, or audiobook performance and production. Try and like find ways to make what I'm doing better, or make my performance better, or make the editing and production better. That side of creativity I really like. Now with like the writing thing, I'm slow with writing, so like I have to keep all these irons in the fire, because otherwise I might never release anything. If I only worked on one thing, it'd take forever. I try to kind of like bounce between things as the thinking develops. I don't have the discipline to write 1,000 words a day. Maybe at some point I will, but I don't have that currently. It's a muscle I need to exercise.
No. Look, I get it. Everybody has their own pace, their own flow. I've been working on the workshops too, trying to nail that stuff down, because we're going to try to schedule some of those at some point. Talking back and forth with people. If you know anyone who has a project stalled, or needs some the world building one is coming along. Project layout is coming along. So there'll be 4 different ones. But anybody as a stall project, just throw them my way.
I'm just starting to get into my next larger short story. I've finished outlining it for the most part. I'm sure other stuff will come up. I haven't written a word yet, but I intend to, post haste. Primarily, I need to get to work on this audiobook for next month. I've already done the recording. I need to do some overdubs. I might do that tonight, and then get into the sound effects and music and stuff, because I want to dress it up properly for that. And then after that, really start to look at like my next larger story. I've got another one that is basically done, but it's very, very short. It'll be similar to Tartaria in the sense that it'll have a bunch of images and text together in the ebook. Then, I'll put that out probably in the summer. It'll have an audiobook as well. All this stuff I feel like allows us to explore our creativity, explore storytelling and our techniques and our, skill set and craft, our abilities, little by little, so that, hopefully we improve, but also find ways to make what we're putting out there better, build audience around this stuff. So, this is a question I had for you too. I'm doing a, I'm doing a based book sale for next month. The theme is North American fantasy, which is to say that fantasy that takes place in North America, not fantasy by North American authors. And I feel like Tom probably has some stuff that would fit.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Tom has this thing called Pankram, the Pankram Chronicles. It's about this guy, John Pankram.
Mm-hmm.
He's a paranormal detective, parapsychologist, and kind of like a little bit of a Dr. Strangey kind of guy. Like Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Strange, with like a dusting of, maybe like John Constantine. Not as powerful as John Constantine is, but that whole thing takes place in America, and it's what I view as American fantasy is the American mythologies that we have. The UFO is, as far as I'm concerned, it predates everything. If you want to get technical with it, because there's engravings on petroglyphs. There's all sorts of strange things that have been referenced. There are native people who are oral traditionalists who have talked about the ant people. Aborigines talk about various things. But the way the U.S. is with, the UFO myth it has its prefigurements in other mythology throughout the world that you could basically say, well, it behaves the same way. Like UFOs abduct people. Well, so did Hades. Hades abducted Persephone, and he took her down to the underworld. There's plenty of examples of that. So if we're dealing with American fantasy in the sense of how I would interpret it, anything that's like ufology or abduction phenomena or anything like that, what would you mean by American fantasy?
I think that counts. I would say, the point of the prompt was really to make it flexible. I think a lot of times we kind of try to divide fantasy into magic and sci-fi into technology, but I think it is more broad in the sense that what you're saying, like mythology, um, and mysticism as opposed to like technology as magic. So in that sense, I feel like the Penguin stuff works. I'd be fine with it. Point being here, hey, can you tell him that I'm doing this thing and he's on Substack, so let's get him in this thing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'll tell him right now, because he's all about this stuff.
Do you have the link
to the Pankram Chronicles? I think I can.
No. To the prompt for the base book sale.
I don't think so. If you could send it, that'd be great.
I will do that right now.
Thank you.
Heidi, what are you up to?
I've just been sort of messing with the audiobook. I started uploading files into Audible, and so far it's accepting them just to test it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a problem, so I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I sent you a URL in the Substack for the Fantasy North American. I like what Ricky was saying about it being sort of American or North American mythology. I think that's a good way of sort of thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think he's right. I like the idea of UFOs and just weird stories that kind of necessarily, I mean, geographically take place here, but also sort of originate here, the concepts. I mean, one could almost, well, probably not science fiction. I'm going to hand that one to Jules Verne, but I think Americans have really gone to town with it.
That was my thinking in regards to putting Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox on the image.
Yeah, you did. You put Paul Bunyan on there.
Yeah.
Well, that's like my zone. I love that. You got to put Pecos Bill on the next one, right?
Gosh, now I got to. That's a good call. Let me, because I feel like I'm not even. I know the name, but I can't even like think of it. Like I can't even imagine. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So he rides the. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. I totally should. Yeah, good call.
Do any of you do any of you know what a jackalope is?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the jackalope term for sure.
Yeah, I've heard that that's an American original. I'm pretty sure.
See, here I am sourcing all the ideas from you guys now for the imagery.
Bigfoot? Let's not leave Bigfoot out, right?
No, definitely not. And that's why you would go to Tom. The only one who knows more about that stuff than Tom is Dave Politis. I have Bigfoot books that I've got. I gathered a bunch of, because it's Bigfoot and it's wild men. They used before it's always been Sasquatch, but like back in the Revolutionary times, they were called wild men. And I got a thick tome, like a phone book, filled with stories about them going all the way back to the Revolution. It's fascinating.
Did you ever read Iron John? Have we talked about that before?
I know Iron John. I know all those stories. I'm trying to find this book. I'll give you a whole list of stuff. I'm going to see if I can find it while you're talking.
I don't know who Iron John. Iron John? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, Iron John, a book about men. Or yeah, I think that's what it is. By Eli Brown.
No, it's that poet.
No, he
did Iron John and Fire in the Belly.
Iron John, yeah, by Robert Bly. That's his name.
That's it.
Was misremembering Bly as Eli, and then it threw me off completely. Yeah, but Iron John, must read book for you, Ricky. You got to read that book.
I'll take a gander. Maybe it's on YouTube as an audiobook, or
maybe. I've never seen it as an audiobook, but it would make a great one, to be honest with you.
Well, tell me about it. What is it about exactly?
It's a symbolic representation of the coming of age for boys into men.
No, dig it. Yeah, absolutely.
Julianne, if you want to come up, grab a mic. You know, we know who you are. You've been here before. You're welcome to come and hang out. This is a super casual space today, in general. Obviously, I got these new releases out for this month. Here's an interesting thing. I'm going to talk a little bit about data for a second here, because I noticed this trend occurring that once the weather starts to turn, the books and the video sales drop a little bit. The podcasts begin to go up. I'm noticing when these weather changes occur. Something interesting. So, like my podcast has been very busy over the last month as the weather has been improving. Thinking that perhaps, people are getting out into the world more. They're not as locked into their indoor habits. And then you get a spike again in the middle of summer when people are trying to get away from heat, I guess. Or maybe absorbing the heat. And they're like, oh, we're going to read a book out on the boat or on the lake or on the screened-in porch or something. Who knows? Just something that I'm noticing after kind of looking at data over the course of years.
Well, it makes sense, I would say. I mean, we kind of, whether we like to admit it or not, we do things group-wise, And then there's always that point in the summer where you're just like, I can't take anymore of the heat.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was actually, initially I was looking through all of your books to see if you had something that would be good for the sale. And then I remembered Tom, and I was like, oh, Tom has to have something that's along these lines. And so did you get that link that I sent you?
Yes, I saw it. The only book that I would say that could be even remotely construed as American fantasy or American mythology would be Nidhogg Chronicles, because it does start in the continental United States.
What's Nidhogg Chronicles?
So I wrote a book a number of years ago. It's paranormal horror, paranormal fantasy with sci-fi elements. Nidhogg is she's a hybrid. She's about a mid-range hybrid in the hybrid program. And basically, everybody who writes books about UFOs, they write them from the perspective of the person who's abducted, as if they're being they're trying to get the trauma and whatever. What I'm writing in this book, Nidhogg Chronicles, is about the abductor. This hybrid abducts humans and does breeding experiments with them. And she hates her life. She hates her life. When she was little, she had a crush, and it didn't work out because she's kind of like half a monster. And she hates what she is. She hates herself. She hates the government she serves. She hates the world. She hates everything. And there's an arc where she slowly gets over that, but it's not without self-destruction, reinvention. And it's a UFO myth. And I've never, maybe it exists, but I've read a lot of that stuff, and I've never heard it from the perspective of the abductor. It's always from someone who's being taken,
Is that up on Amazon?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Under your name?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
and
why didn't I see it when I looked at your books?
Oh, I don't know. When I go there, it comes up it's all in the line, going down. But if you go to me, you should see it's like a white cover. I'll send you the link, Michael. If it's being stupid, I might have to go check out the search and find out why you're not seeing it.
Yeah.
Would you get a physical copy or an ebook?
Well, okay. So for the sale, the ebooks need to be 99 cents or free for the duration of the sale.
Well, let's see. Let's see what it even costs.
Say
I don't know.
Nidhogg Chronicles.
Yeah, Nidhogg.
Nid.
Nidhogge.
Okay.
Chronicles.
HOGGE.
Gge. Yeah. I mean, I don't see any price here.
I don't see any listing here for this.
Well, hold on one second.
Hold on. Maybe maybe I spelled it wrong. No, it's recorrecting this now. Nidhogg Chronicles is what we want.
I dropped it in the pill, Michael.
Thanks.
Yeah. So if you want to check it out. I'm planning to do a collaboration with someone. We'll see if it works, but I might do a novella sequel to this material because I did enjoy writing it. It's very dark. It's very dark and twisted, but it was very, very fun to write, you know?
Here we go. Now I've got it. Okay. So Kindle, 99 cents. Cryptid Encounters Lost. Yeah. Okay. You're on Substack?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Only as a reader so far. I haven't really decided if and what I want to do.
But you have an account, which is my point here. And I think I put this into the writer's block chat. So like if you go into the writer's block chat, I'm pretty sure it's there. Pretty sure I put it there. Maybe I didn't. No, I had to have. Didn't I? Oh yeah, call for authors. Yeah, here we go. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to reply to this and I'm going to tag you and Tom. That way you guys both see it. Hold on. Mount.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'm doing the work. And then we'll do. Tom is. What's his account name?
Thomas P. Tiernan. But his searches are kind of wonky.
On Twitter?
Hold on. On
Isn't
Twitter.
It like Captain Nemo or something? What is he on here?
Yeah, no, you're right. No, he has
Commodore
has
Nemo. Now I got him. All right, here we go.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Before you send it to that one, he has two.
I cannot track all of this. I did the one. There's no way. I'm typing sideways on a phone, you know.
Oh yeah, well never mind. It's just it's one of them is restricted. What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
I don't understand, man. He's got two, but one of them is like 2K followers and one doesn't. So it's like
he's ripping.
Yeah, I know, but the other one he started 10 minutes ago, and it's got squat, like it's less than mine. So I wish he'd like pick one, you know. And now it says it's what does restricted mean? Well, how would he have done that?
Does it have a lock next to it?
Let me see. Gosh, all hemlock.
Like next to the actual name. If there's a lock there, it means he locked down the account. If it's restricted for some other reason, then maybe he got in trouble.
Yeah, I don't see a lock, so I think he probably did something naughty.
Really?
By accident.
He doesn't seem like a naughty person. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. He's more of a Mr. Rogers kind of guy, but, you know, every once in a while, there's a childish mischievousness that comes over him, and I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, so here's what you need to do for me and for yourself. I need you to click on that link that I just tagged you in on your computer at some point, and that'll take you to Substack, where you'll be logged into Substack, and then you can leave a comment, read the directions on that post, and leave a comment with the details for Nidhogg Chronicles, and then we can get your book into the sale.
Okay, so the link, where did you drop that? In the writer's block?
Yeah. It's in the DM
Let
group.
me.
I just tagged you. And if you want to share that out, you can too. You know, we're looking for people. We're trying to get everybody in on this thing, you know, that wants to participate that way.
So this will give me a point by point of what I have to do in order to cooperate.
It will.
Okay, so I'll do that when the show's over with. I'll get into this and I'll figure it out.
Cool. And if you need help, I can help you. But I feel like you can manage it. But then once you do it correctly, then you help Tom as well. Okay.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Thank you, Michael.
I know he's on Substack because he will comment on my posts occasionally. So I know he's on there. But I want to get you guys into it because I don't think you've done it before. And I'm curating this sale. So, you know, like you have an in, you know, he can get you in.
Yeah, well, that's right up my alley. I'll have to check it out.
Cool. Heidi, do we have you? Are you back? Hello.
But we've lost these tales. You guys don't know who Pecos Bill is. Do you know what Pecos Bill did?
Yeah, he rode the titty twister.
Pardon?
What?
Did you say? I don't think that's what he referred to it as. Maybe in the updated version that you saw, but in the traditional one, it was a tornado. He lassoed the tornado.
That's what I said.
Okay. Sure. I'll go with that. That's what you said. But I mean, that's actually really a cool idea. I mean, I'm feeling quite inspired. But you know, I write sort of a mythological American West, so of course this is going to be like right up my alley. I'm going to be all over figuring out how to put that into to kind of explore into that zone. So I'm a big fan of the whole genre. And you know, Ricky, I was reading your short stories. You're going to put something in, right? Because your stuff fits.
Yeah, we talked about what he's going to submit. You missed that entire conversation is what I'm assuming. So in 2 weeks, you can go back and listen to the part you missed when I put up this recording on the podcast. So something to consider.
Okay, I will definitely do that. And yeah, that'll happen while I was finding shoes. So there you go.
Well, you know, but I do appreciate you guys coming up with those ideas. This crowdsourcing for the visuals component, because I'm going to do the same thing I did last time in March, where I'll have like the little bits of imagery, and then I'll do the video promo thing again. Because, you know, I feel like, hey, you know, give back to the community, you know.
Tell me about the crowdsourcing. Is it all right if I ask? Since I sort of missed it. What are you going to?
We're there for it. It was when we were talking about Pecos Bill and jackalopes and Sasquatch.
I was okay. I believe you.
What do you mean?
Never mind.
You were the one. You were talking. You started it.
Crowdsourcing. I don't remember the discussion. Is this a fundraising thing? Crowdsourcing images? Am I being annoying? You can drop me down and block me if you.
You are killing me. I'm saying I crowdsourced these ideas during this conversation with you. You guys gave me the ideas by having a conversation with me about this topic. So now I've got these ideas about Pecos Bill and jackalopes and Sasquatches to use.
I now understand what you meant when you said crowdsource. Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
That's good. No problem. You're back, you say. Back from finding the shoes.
Yeah, still can't find the book. It's making me a little nuts. I don't know if you can tell.
That's all right.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I lose a book or I think I know where a book is and I become obsessed with finding it, there's this horrible trend in my life where I never find it again.
Oof.
I have a book about the
just
old...
cursing her now.
No, I'm really not. I'm telling you how my thing works. It's like I have this book about the old man on the mountain Hassan E. Sabah, right? I want to find it. I can't even tell you how I've been looking for it like a dope for months because I have a lot of books and they're in no way are they organized. It's pathetic. And I really want to find it because I want to read it. I'm probably just going to end up buying it again because I can't stand the fact that I don't know where it is. I looked everywhere, and it's obviously not where I think it is. So I'm trying to give Heidi advice is like, if you think you know where it is, maybe look there, but it's probably where you don't think it is, you know?
It's exactly where you don't think it is.
Yeah, well, it's exactly where I'm not looking.
Let
So
me
that's the trick, right?
offer up a third, more mysterious option. You guys loaned both of those books to each other and don't know to look for the other book.
I won't say that didn't happen. One never knows, you know? One never knows. I sort of organized them because I had to buy more bookcases. So everything's sort of organized, but I'll be damned. I'm wondering if it's at my mother's house, if somehow this book is over at her house. That may be where I remember it from. Because I cannot find it because there's only so many places a book would be here. So I know this must be fascinating for everyone to listen to, and I'm sure when the podcast comes around, Mike, this will be the most interesting part of it.
Hard hitter, really. Gary, I don't know you. I've never seen you before, but you know the people that we know, and so you're on stage. Tell us about what you're working on or what you're doing. If you're a writer or if you got books out, pump it. What's happening? Do we have you, Gary? Gary, come in, Gary. Hit that mic, Gary.
There we go.
There he is.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
All good.
I'm a little unwieldy in these sessions. Okay. Well, I'm actually here to offer you an opportunity to come to my weekly free writers group every Thursday.
Where do I have to go? What do I have to do?
Well, all I need is your email address. It's basically a Skype group chat that's held every Thursday afternoon.
I don't use Skype.
Well, you might want to because it's how it's the platform we use.
Yeah.
We're going to have to migrate to something else.
Got to migrate to Discord or Twitter.
Well, Twitter's a problem. I like to be able to see the faces of the people.
Oh, no. We're not doing that either, buddy.
Likewise. Well, so a little bit about our group. It's basically writers helping writers with all of the writerly problems they have, including publication. And we have managed to get some authors published. And when I say published, I don't mean so-called self-published or anything like that. I mean, actually so-called traditionally published. And we offer free screenwriting tutorials, etc. And a lot of benefits. It's basically writers helping writers. There's no money changing hands. There's no obligation for membership. Basically, just has to do with how much you want to move forward in what you're doing and how much you're willing to help other writers do it without cost.
Yeah, I dig the entire proposition.
It works out very well. I've been doing this for about 3 years.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I want to support what you're doing. Hold on just a second, Gary.
Sure thing.
I want to support.
I'm just saying, all I need is an email address.
Hold on, buddy.
Agenda.
Yeah, and I got you, Gary. Stop. Listen.
Okay. Well, you needed to know that.
I already knew that. So this is the thing for you is here's what I would say. Make a post or DM me this stuff, or make a post and DM me that post.
You want to give me your email address?
No, because I'm not going to go to Skype. I'm not going to show my face either. So those are
up to you. It's not like I sell the email address anywhere.
Yeah, I know.
It just
fine.
gives you the material.
Yeah, no, it's all good. What I would say is that with a platform like Discord, you're able to just drop me that stuff.
Maybe. I don't know where we're going to migrate to. We're not going to go to Teams, which is the next iteration of Skype. I am going to continue using Skype until it's inconvenient to do it.
Aren't they closing Skype down?
A platform, and maybe that will work, but it really should be a face-to-face group chat. That's what we're aiming for. If you don't like that, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's no obligation here.
Thanks.
None.
Yeah, perfect.
But we actually do manage to get people help. And I will say, we have a pretty good average of getting people published.
That's great. I want people to get published. In fact,
Be surprised how difficult it is. Publishing deals do not grow.
I am not surprised how difficult it is.
I am
in any way
turning out my 9th traditionally published novel.
You're ripping.
I have an agent. I pitch to Hollywood.
What are you writing?
I write screenplays and teleplays for a living, and I write books for a living.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Yeah, that's very cool. I'm happy that that's all working.
Yeah. It's almost a living.
Almost. Yeah, well, that's the
pretty
thing.
Good.
Right?
It's pretty good. I could complain, It's better than flipping burgers.
Well, you could always moonlight as a burger flipper. If you wanted.
No need.
If you wanted.
No need. No, I don't think I would want to flip burgers. I have a good bit of qualification to do all this stuff. I used to be a staff writer at Playboy magazine. I was a professional book reviewer for 10 years. I've been traditionally published by Macmillan, among other publishers. I have 9 novels in print. I've written for major magazines. I've been an editor. I've done every job in publishing.
You're ripping.
I've also been offered jobs at literary agencies and turned them down.
Why wouldn't you do that? You're basically operating like A&R already.
Because I can't think of a worse occupation in life than being a literary agent. It's a terrible line of work. And, you wind up having to be an amoral, pathological liar. Unless, of course, you're my literary agent.
And then they're the best one.
Always. Well, no, I've had, she's my 10th literary agent.
You had 10 lit agents. You got 9 books.
I know.
How's that working?
It's the way it is. Literary agents, they're
dime a dozen.
Most of them are frauds. Don't you like the little cartoon of me? A friend of mine did that. Said literary agents suck. I love it. I'm a troll. I troll literary agents all the time. They deserve it.
Why?
Well, lying to people, leading them on, and presenting yourself in a false light, and trying to make money off of that, and trying to charge authors for the privilege of being deceived by you. I think that's enough.
Yeah, fair. But somehow you've managed to make it work with 9 of them. You're a serial politarist. I don't know.
I don't think that exists. It's a nice neologism, though. Yeah, I'm a serial novelist, I guess.
Yeah, interesting. So you write for TV. You got a bunch of books out. What are you doing next?
Well, I got a couple of novel pitches into Penguin Random House through my literary agent. Now, I'll see if they pick that up, and if they pick them up, I'm going to write them. Independent of that, I'm writing a serious survey of Chinese poetry for Penguin Classics. I got to do that.
You speak Chinese?
No, but my partner does.
Interesting.
He's the expert. I'm the literary composer. We share the credit.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, it's a gig. and that's, and I'm writing a really bad TV series that I hope never gets picked up.
Then I hope I never watch it.
Yeah, I want to. Sometimes, I've had enough stuff. It's always the worst things I've ever done that wind up getting made. I've had a couple of actual really bad features made scripts that I wrote years ago.
Name the one we might
I'm
know.
definitely not doing that.
100%.
I don't want to get sued.
Gary.
Ghostwriters get sued.
Tell us what it was.
Never happened. I mean, and I wrote like the first 2 seasons of a really terrible HBO show that was ultimately canceled.
What was the HBO show?
Cannot say.
You didn't ghostwrite it.
I did.
Gary.
But that's the problem with being a ghost. You don't get your name on anything. Well, I mean, and I used to work. I mean, I started out, if you want to know, I was hired to learn how to write screenplays by a celebrity who will remain nameless, who actually optioned my first novel for $80,000.
Nice.
And then said, "Hey, would you like to work with my ghostwriter?" Because he writes books but doesn't really write them, and had a ghostwriter write for him. "Would you like to work with my ghostwriter writing plays?" And I said, "I don't really know
ghostwriting for each other. What does that even mean? It sounds like a bunch of.
Sorry.
It sounds like nonsense. Everybody's ghostwriting for each other. Nobody's doing that actual writing.
I mean, whenever you see a celebrity book, you can be sure that there's a writer behind it who wrote it as a ghost.
Sure. Yeah, that I'm aware of.
Yeah, it's not so absurd. This guy's famous for writing books, but he's never written a word in his life. He has a ghostwriter do. Quite successful. I mean, the ghostwriter is still a friend of mine. He's got a nice house and a retirement. He's got a good pension, good medical, good dental, and vacation. What the fuck? Excuse my language.
It's fine.
I was hired to write screenplays with him, and I didn't know how. And I spent like 2.5 years learning how to write screenplays. I finally learned how to do it. And since 2004, I probably sold in excess of 250 features, not including TV episodes, not including seasons, and not including pitch decks.
You just turning out slop? What are you doing?
Yeah, kind of. You try. It's sort of a situation. Well, I mean, they would call me up. I would be kind of like ordering Chinese food. After working for the celebrity for 6 years, he folded his tents and decided no more movies. We're not doing it anymore. So I was let go, but he would and his ghostwriter decided he had no talent for writing screenplays, but I apparently had something going. And so I was a party favorite, for Hollywood. He would go to parties and with his big friends say, someone would say, "Listen, I want to be a writer-director, and I have an idea for a movie. I need someone to write me a screenplay." And the guy I used to work for would say, "You know what? I know a guy."
And that's when Gary gets the call. Well, hey, this has been insightful. As for today, we're going to wrap it up for today. We usually go an hour, Gary. I know you got more stories, but I gotta call it for today. This has gone well, and we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about writing, publishing, and authorship. Join us then, and we'll talk again before too long. Have a good day.